Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. This is an industrial and gardening and miscellaneous subscriber update. When we did the report on the DEP shortage and some other shortages, you guys, especially folks involved in industry and such like that, did give us back a bunch of feedback on things you're seeing in different industries. So this isn't store shelves so much as it is industry and industrial supplies and trucking and that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. Gene A says our natural gas in the Chicago area went from 29 cents per therm last year to 68 cents per therm this year in the Chicago area. Do we eat or do we keep warm? Glad I have some preps, but never enough, I think. Glenn D says, regarding nitrogen, as we were talking about the nitrogen shortage, a lot of people think food manufacturing just sucks the air out of the package before sealing it. Actually, the air is removed by pushing nitrogen in, thus forcing out the oxygen while acting as a preservative also. No oxygen equals no bacteria, longer shelf life. You can have all the ingredients to make something, but if you can't seal it properly, then it doesn't ship. So nitrogen shortage can directly impact food. Dave M says, shortage of glass in northeastern United States, no longer packaging some 1.75 liter bottles in glass. Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, and more. Van City Prepper said, we used nitrogen gas in coal bed methane exploration practices. We've heard that before about fracking. You're talking about coal bed. I don't know all that stuff well enough. Take her word for it. Rob Harrop says, my main seed supplier is totally out of stock of vegetable seeds. Their website indicates that shortages are expected in late January. I was advised this week that I may see shortage of chicken feed in late January. For all of you folks like me who have chickens, pay attention to that one. I really appreciate my suppliers being open with me. Propane fittings on the shelf are really sparse or non-existent. And I just got canning jars that were ordered back in the spring. There were only 2 cases left. I have seen canning jars of not all the sizes at Walmart just this week. I picked up a few, but I saw some at Walmart's if you guys are looking for that. Water says, the shortage of light bulbs is probably why we keep hearing about a dark winter. Sorry, I couldn't resist. That's what they said. And I couldn't resist either. So, L. Jetson says, work in the printing industry, paper and envelopes. The orders are short or delayed. So an update, this is a separate comment. So an update. The suppliers are looking at last year's orders and limiting what you can purchase. So if you're a growing company, you're going to be out of luck. Specialty items were ordered in August. They just received in December. Arkansas Whoop says, another big shortage nobody is talking about is the shortage of plastic packaging materials. Examples, the plastic film used to package paper towels, toilet paper, and fresh chicken. Once again, seeing how that can impact our food supply as well. Ninja87 says, fall they had a shortage and higher priced fertilizer. Ninja87, I think, is in the agricultural business, by the way. Higher priced fertilizer. This is going to greatly affect yield in spring produce. Further reducing availability of fertilizer will once again reduce spring application, and 2022 yield numbers are going to be record low. I was talking to a different farmer actually, and he said he thought that his field had enough to get through one season. And so depending on the crops that you plant, the fertilizer that you have in the ground can be used. as a bank kind of thing, but as you deplete that, you need to put it back into the soil. So some of these farmers may already have enough in the soil to bring out 1 or 2 crops, but depending on what crops they're bringing out, and that's not my area of expertise, I'm just repeating what I heard. Mimi J says, I live in France. In October, I've read an article saying that the main company in Italy, which produces Adblue, which is the United States version of DEF, will stop in 4 weeks because of the shortage in ammoniac. For the moment, I didn't hear any problems of shortages here in France. JF said, I had to go to every gas station on a 20-mile leg of my drive 2 days ago to find DEF. Every gas station in 20 miles to find DEF. Every place told me the truck didn't deliver any last week when they were supposed to get it. Rex, I live in Cornwall, UK, United Kingdom, right? It's called Adblue here. We drove around to 4 fuel stations last week trying to find it, which is unusual. The 4th one had some at double the normal price at £20 for 10 liters. I'm going to get more now after watching this and fill up. Thanks for the info. Looks like a global thing. Bengal Cat Homestead, our favorite German lady. Oh gosh, we have several. I can't say that anymore. One of our favorite German ladies. We are told inflation is 5.2% here in Germany. I calculated it out for our family. Ours is over 20% in the middle. I'm so glad I stocked up on the front end of 2019 to now alone to be left alone on that, I think. You are in denial, who is in Pennsylvania, by the way. Electricians here, material prices soaring is still approximately 75% easily available. So 75% of what they use is easily available. The 25% common item shortages are recent. Business does not seem to be slowing, but actually growing, my estimation as of today. Chris B says, but the kicker with meds is that many medicines raw materials come from China, not Asia Pacific, China. And that is true because the medications, a lot of these, the substance is actually made in China, and then a lot of it shipped to India where it's packaged into capsules, particularly generic brands, whereas I think the non-generic brands tend to come directly from China, from those factories, right? He says, supply chain affects that, and I'm not sure I want some of that being sitting on a ship outside LA since October. Anyway, it's difficult for an FDA hear this out. It is difficult for an FDA-regulated manufacturer to change suppliers other than the 1, 2, or few approved already, because each must be qualified and validated, meaning you can't just compare specifications and swap one item for the other. Only in the most desperate times would this be allowed. Also remember that a pharma company will buy raw materials which were made from other raw materials and so on up the chain. They aren't always able to secure the whole chain. P.S. Generics are particularly problematic. Generics, I love generics, so we stock them. So hear that out. If one leg of the supply chain gets damaged and they're like, well, we need to get a replacement for this. They can't because the FDA hasn't approved the new supplier. So they have to wait for the suppliers that have been approved to catch up. And that's a potential big problem. It means that the companies can't pivot. They can't find what they need elsewhere. They have to get it from the approved list of people who are approved. Cayman C says, at my parts store that I go to weekly, last week there was almost no DEF fluid left. all premium stuff. Rusty Nut says, this could be playing a part in the cargo stacking up at the ports, speaking about DEF. It's not just the trucks themselves, but the refrigeration units on the trailers are diesel and must comply with the California mandates. So all the reefer units out there need to have their DEF, or else they have to stop running. Kim says, we have new vehicles that have been sitting one state away at the holding yard. This is in relation to parts. And they have been there for almost a month now, waiting for a truck to transport them. When we try to ask if we can send drivers, I'm sorry, this is about cars. When we want to send drivers to go pick them up ourselves, we just get the runaround. We're out of new vehicles to sell at this point, and it's just frustrating knowing that we have maybe 30 sitting and waiting, but in the other state, right? Even 30 isn't much, as it's only a 2-week supply, but it's better than nothing. Shoppers get really angry at us for adding an addendum to the manufacturing retail price, but what they don't understand is that the market value is so out of whack that they could turn around and sell that vehicle back to us for thousands more than what they paid for it. While it might sound like a good deal for the buyer, dealerships will not last very long doing business like this. All right, so if you're trying to buy a new car, realize that the manufacturer retail price, that's out of whack already, and them adding surcharges and upping the value on that is actually sounding like it's common practice now, because they're trying to compensate for what's going on in the supply chain. So they may not actually be trying to rip you off. Nunya Business says, my fiance is a truck driver. I said months ago that eventually trucks wouldn't be able to run because of parts or fluids that are imported but would not be in supply. A driver shortage, although overhyped, can be mitigated with big sign-on bonuses and salaries, but you can't do that with parts. Also, the new farm tractors won't run unless the software boots up properly. A shortage of a part or a sensor can't be jury-rigged like the old tractors, right? Because if you can invalidate the warranty by doing that, and then when everything's run by these computers, you can't just fix things anymore. You actually have to have them done properly, and the computer needs to know what these new things are and all that stuff. And so that all has to happen in high-tech shops nowadays. Richard R. says, absolutely killing it. I work a second full-time job for a large trucking company on the weekends, and this sensor issue is absolutely profound and a sick reality. That's referring to the DEF sensors. Wendy, municipality trucks, aka snowplows, have been waiting for over 6 months for chips now on this. Definitely seems intentional, praying for an intervention. We've also heard that some trains have the DEF sensors and DEF requirements in them. We're also hearing that ambulances and fire trucks supposedly have the sensors in them, and they might not work without DEF as well as the trucking, as well as the tractors, as well as heavy machinery used in construction. A lot of things moving right now, a lot of shortages, a lot of challenges. Please keep reporting in what you guys are seeing out there to share with others, and I will do my best to bring those to you guys as quickly as I can and as timely as I can, and sifting down to the best information that we're getting in. God bless you all. Steve Poplar, out.